dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time you haven't.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the series where we look at cars that you can buy that are practical and sensible for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 2017 Renault Captur 900cc Dynamique Nav. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the first generation Renault Captur was launched in 2013. There was a facelift for them in 2017. This is a late pre-facelift car on what I believe are actually Renault UK plates. The Captur is based on the same chassis as an awful lot of other Renault and Nissan products, and also some Dacias from the time. And it's actually one of the best selling cars in continental Europe. This particular car has a 900cc 3-cylinder turbo engine with 89 horsepower. If you put this car into the eco mode, it is, as Dale, who is one of the chaps here at Langley Prestige in Chelmsford where I borrowed this car, he described it as gutless in the eco mode. It certainly is. It doesn't have 89 horsepower. I think it's got considerably less than that. So we'll have to turn that off in a second, because yeah, we're not really going anywhere very fast at all. Although the eco trainer in the infotainment system is very much enjoying the fact that I'm in eco mode, unsurprisingly. Also got this gear shift indicator here, just sort of typical Renault stuff at the time. Talking of the Mark IV Clio this is based on, I have actually driven one of those on the channel. It had even less power than this. It was the old 1.2 D4F engine as used in the Dacia Sandero that was also sold over here at the time. In that, fortunately, didn't put it in this because it only makes 75 horsepower, and 0 to 60 in one of those Clios is about 14 seconds. This isn't that bad. 0 to 60 is about 12.5 seconds, and you know, really that's still quite slow. So I'd recommend going for one of the other engines in a Captur if you actually drive anywhere other than town. You can go for the 1.2, that's got 118 horsepower, or the 1.3. Now that was only available, I think, in facelifted Capturs. It's actually the engine that was shared with Mercedes-Benz along with other, you know, Renaults, Nissans and Dacias and things like that as well. I'm up to about 256 horsepower. From what I remember, that engine was only available in this country with an automatic gearbox, but I could be wrong about that. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. What we do talk about is the way that this car drives, and rather like the second generation Captur that I've done on contingency reviews quite recently, this car's very, very sort of soft from a driving experience. Now that's not necessarily a problem. A lot of the people who would typically buy a car like this are after more of a comfort-oriented experience rather than a sporty one. But the thing is that there are cheaper crossovers than this Captur which drive just a little bit better than this. Even things like the MG ZS and the Sanyong Tivoli, both of which have been extensively tested by me on this channel, because I own a Tivoli and I've driven about every single ZS from 2017 onwards, every single variant of it, so I do know those quite well, and they both typically come with 7-year warranties, whereas the Captur's one, I think it's either like 3, 4 or 5 years depending on the year, which is really weird. So one thing Renault have probably got quite right with this car, although I don't know if I'm a fan too much of these black elements on it is the styling of this car. Obviously the second generation Captur, which you've had on my channel before, sort of looks quite similar to this. It is a bit bigger than this though. One thing I've just noticed is this car's got drum brakes on the back, which is interesting. It's something that's presumably quite sort of big and heavy. Yes, I have got my dealer plates in today. One thing that this car has that a Captur that I drove in 2017 didn't have is parking sensors, which is good. You really do need them because the rear visibility in this is quite shocking. It's really quite poor. We'll have a look at the boot first of all. Now the capacity of the boot depends actually on whether or not you've got that rear bench slid forward or not. It's got the sort of dealer advertising stuff in here. We'll just move it out of the way and see if we've got something nice inside the area down here. We've got an adjustable height boot floor, so plenty of space to put things in. Actually, it's one of the bigger boots in the class. No. Is the answer to my question. We do not have anything interesting in there like a spare wheel, which is what I would want, but never mind, it's part of the course really, isn't it, these days? So this height's actually really good. If you've got the adjustable height floor in this particular position rather than the down position, then it's really easy to get things in and out, so that's quite good, although ideally you'd have that lower so you could get a few more things in. If we get in the back, so this is my driving position and I am about 5'11". One thing that this car does share with a SsangYong Tivoli, apart from being a competitor to it, is these funny bungee cords here. Now the Captur came out in 2013, so I'm pretty sure that SsangYong copied this idea, but why they're in this weird position, I don't really know. So getting in is, well, it's very easy. It's very easy indeed, actually. Put the key down here. So the bench slider is just, oh, here we go. See if it's actually, oh, there we go. Yeah, that works. That works fine. So yeah, you can move the seats forward and back like that. Someone's actually thought quite hard about how this car's going to be used. They put these little sort of tams there to stop the seatbelt getting snagged if you fold it down. Also, unlike some slightly older Renaults of this era, we've actually got a seatbelt that doesn't attach to the ceiling, which would be annoying. So yeah, bungee. We've got big rear door bins. And this sort of weird fabric on the seats. You can actually unzip this if you want to wash it or something like that, which would be handy if you've got small children particularly, or if you have dogs and things like that. It would be really handy. So this enormous sort of tray down here, that's, I don't know what you want to put in there. I'm going to take my key out of there so I don't lose it, because I've found out today, if you walk away from the car just locks itself, and you just do not want to ever have a situation where you lock the key in the car accidentally. Funny, it's got like a plastic back to it, so it's obviously designed to wear a bit better than just fabric seats on the back. So yeah, we've got keyless entry in this one. Again, really easy to get in and out, and straight away we spot the controls that are really similar to the ones that were on the Mark 1 Renault Clio. And then obviously before that, I think they were on the 9 and the 11. So this is, I think, a 7-inch display in here. We'll just turn the car on. You don't need to put the key in this slot here. You can just turn it on like this. This has a TomTom navigation system in it, hence the Dynamique Nav trim, which is okay, I suppose. I mean, I would want to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto or something like that. You don't have the option in here. You do have the Eco trainer though, and I don't know how far this is over, but I'm only getting 68 out of 100, which is a bit rubbish. My gear shifting is not good. What does it say? Eco coaching. Do not leave the engine idling. What else does it say? Drive at a steady speed. Avoid unnecessary acceleration and braking. Change up gears sooner. The gear shift indicator, which is very annoying, well, it can help you with this. It doesn't really help actually, because if you're in the eco mode, and the eco switch is down here, along with the cruise control switch, which is really, really weird. That's a terrible place for a cruise control switch, considering, you know, the actual buttons for it to adjust the speed and things like that are actually on the wheel here. Yeah, anticipation. Red light at 300 yards, use of the accelerator. Right, okay. Thank you very much for all that. Go home here. Have a look at the nav. Yeah, well, we just want to see where we are. Gallywood Common, which is just on the outskirts of Chelmsford. That's good. What else can we find out here? Radio. We've got DAB, which is good. Won't turn that on because we don't want any copyright infringement. Media, no device connected. Well, that's far enough. And phone. So yeah, we've got ports here for the cigarette lighter. And then at the top here we've got aux in and USB. No, my secret mission document's not going in there because Renault didn't think it fit to move the fuse box from left to right hand drive. Never mind. So look at this steering wheel. It's quite nice actually. This leather's quite nice. I've got auto lights and automatic wipers on the Dynamique Nav trim. I don't like this very fussy instrument cluster really, viewers. It's not really me, and of course the Econ Road is on. Yeah. I'd recommend you turn that off as soon as you can to get the full 89 horsepower. Don't have any sunglass holders up here. We've got some lights in there, lights there as well, which is good. Door locking buttons up here so you can find it easily, as a hazard light switch. I mean, it's a Renault. Hopefully you won't be using that hazard light switch very often because the car breaks down. To be honest, actually, the Captur's done pretty well in surveys of reliability over the last few years. It's certainly no worse than average or anything like that. Electric mirrors and everything like that is on that door. Auto stop start, of course. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say really, viewers. Let's have a look under the bonnet once you've taken in these very, very nice big door bins, which is very practical, isn't it? But it's hard to see hydraulic struts on such a, you know, little sort of inexpensive crossover, isn't it? So yeah, this is the 900cc, I think it's called a TCe engine, developing 89 horsepower when not in eco mode. Looks reasonably straightforward to kind of find things. I think the maximum size engine in this was a 1.5 engine, but we can't talk about. This car's actually got the original battery in it, even at 72,000 miles, which is good, I suppose. But yeah, that is one complicated system of wiring on top of there. Unlike a lot of modern cars, this doesn't actually have a plastic engine cover, and you can understand now, looking at this, why manufacturers fit those, because it's not the best looking sight for the average person to see this and sort of start screaming and thinking, oh, that is the most complicated thing I've ever seen. But yeah, just 3 coil packs, I think, on top of there, or whatever they are. They might not be coil packs, it might be something else. But it looks reasonably easy to find the things you need to. The dipstick's in a really odd position, isn't it? It's very strange. But yeah, there's the coolant and the brake fluid reservoir and things like that. Got electric power steering, so I don't think we've got a power steering top up here. Yeah, not really a lot else to say, really. Let's go for a drive anyway. That's probably the best thing to do. Lloyd Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. So this 5-speed manual is okay, I suppose. This car's done 72,000 miles, so you do feel a little bit of wear in the gear shift. But surprisingly, you don't feel too much wear in other things. It's actually stood up remarkably well to all those miles, this car. And you know, the suspension's very compliant, like, you know, the old Renault Clio Mark 1 used to be. Steering's okay. I wish it had a little bit more feel, but it's an electronic system, and you know, a lot of cars these days don't have a lot of steering feel. You do sit very high up, and you know, for some people that's the reason alone to buy a car like this. Does it do too much in the way of wind or road noise? I mean, this car in eco mode, it's not particularly exciting, but at least I'm saving a lot of fuel. Let's now look, viewers, at some Renault Captur Mark 1 trim levels. The Expression Plus, the Dynamique Nav, the Dynamique Media Nav, the Dynamique S, the Dynamique S Nav, the Dynamique S Media Nav, the GT line, the Iconic 2 Nav, the Play, the S Edition, which I think was the sporty one, the Signature Nav, the Signature S Nav, and bizarrely the Signature X Nav. I've just looked up the boot capacity again. It's 377 litres if you don't count the underfloor storage, and 455 with the seat slid forward if you do. So should you buy a first generation Renault Captur with your hard-earned budget between £1,000 and £5,000, this car is actually making more sense as a used buy than as a new buy. They did sell quite a lot of these, and you know, they sell even more of these really on the continent. They're very, very popular over there. It's a bit too kind of soft for me. I needed something a little bit firmer. But the good thing about something like an MGZS or a Sanion Tivoli, apart from the much longer warranty and the fact that the cars were cheaper in the first place than one of these, is that you can change the steering modes in those. And if you want to have it really kind of easy and soft, then you can. If you want a little bit more sort of firmness, although you don't get, you know, real feedback because they're all electric systems, then you can have it. You know, Renaults have become a lot better built than they used to be. I mean, if you go to Renault showroom these days, they give you a 5-year warranty. So, you know, that does say something. But it depends what you want. The rear sliding bench is nice. The level of equipment seems fairly good on this car. But I personally would prefer something that is just a little bit cheaper and just gives you that extra peace of mind of a longer warranty, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Thank you to Simon and Dell from Langley Prestige in Chelmsford letting me have a go in this car today, and we shall see you again soon for more reasonably priced motoring.
Every day with blue skies.